Folks, CEO, the first major tournament for Street Fighter 6 just happened over the weekend, and the character that took first place and won the whole thing was Blanka. Can you believe it? Blanka. This guy right here, Blanka, won the largest tournament for Street Fighter 6, the first super major, if you will. So how did this happen? This is a character that I think a lot of us have been sleeping on. A lot of us have maybe thought, myself included, yeah, he's pretty good, but he's not like top tier or anything. But now we're starting to wonder, is he? Is he top tier, or is MenaRD just amazing? I mean, obviously MenaRD is amazing, but is that the only factor here? Today, I'm going to be going through the replay. We're going to be analyzing what did MenaRD do to make Blanka look so strong, and we're going to be going into training mode as well and seeing what does Blanka do? How can we be prepared to fight against this little gremlin of a character who, you know, definitely has gimmicks, but also has some very solid fundamentals as well. So let's hop right in. And guys, before we start, I do have to point out, characters don't win tournaments, players win tournaments. Obviously, MenaRD, the only player to win Capcom Pro Tour for Street Fighter V twice, the only player to ever do that. Arguably, pretty much definitely the best Street Fighter V player of all time. So it makes sense that that's going to carry over into Street Fighter 6. So obviously MenaRD should be the favorite to win this tournament, but I do think it is very notable that he did it with Blanka. So let's jump in and talk about what happened. So to start off, in the very first round, we can see MenaRD applies what is maybe Blanka's most signature move, which is, of course, the Blanka ball. We saw one right there, traded with the fireball, one right there getting blocked, taking huge chunks of chip. MenaRD, he is utilizing the Blanka ball very, very effectively, and it's a strong move, so let's take a look at this move's properties. So the Blanka ball, you know, I did a whole video about this move, about how this move is pretty strong, but, you know, it is counterable, of course. You know, you can Dragon Punch him right out of the Blanka ball. Most characters can do that. You can go for the perfect parry and, you know, get like a full punish combo if it hits. So there are ways to counter it, but, you know, it's not that bad. Like, what's the worst thing that could happen? You eat just a DP worth of damage. Not that much damage. You eat just a super scaled perfect parry combo. Not that much damage. And, you know, God forbid he gets like a punish counter on one of your normals. 1560 damage. That's pretty ridiculous. So, yeah, the risk reward is pretty good for Blanka here to throw this move out. Nothing really terrible is going to happen unless he does something really dumb, like do it from full screen where you can get a full jump-in combo. So, yeah. And that's not to mention something that I think I didn't emphasize enough when I was making my anti-Blanka video, which is that the fake Blanka ball is really, really good. Light Blanka ball is very, very fast. You can see the recovery on this is like crazy. He can act like instantly after whiffing light Blanka ball. So this becomes a really powerful tool. You know, if they're trying to parry Blanka ball, you end up in front of them and then you get a punish counter throw. Look, 2,000 damage on the punish counter throw. So yeah, the risk reward is pretty good for Blanka to go for Blanka ball. Do I think this move needs nerfed? Not necessarily, because it is possible to, you know, tell what version he's doing. You can see heavy Blanka ball. He really like winds up to do the move, so you can react to what version he's doing. But trust me, it's difficult, and I think especially right now, the game is new. People aren't really tuned into the tiny visual details like that yet. So right now, Blanka ball is just ridiculous. People are getting got by this move. And we'll see all throughout this first round here, MenaRD is just going nuts with these Blanka balls, and they're working really well. And another thing to pay attention to is watch Juri's drive gauge. She's only got one block of drive gauge. Look, blocks an EX Blanka ball. Now she's got like none. She can't do anything, can't block anything, or else she'll get burnt out. And there's the whiffed light Blanka ball, baits the DP, and gets the punish to take the first round. So we can see the power of having these different versions of Blanka ball that look so similar. It's really, really hard to deal with. And then right now, as we get into round two here, we can see another thing that I think makes Blanka extremely powerful, which is his install, his level 2 super. This move is utterly ridiculous. I think it's one of the strongest supers in the game. You can see taking round 2 in the first game in a convincing fashion. Let's take a closer look at this level 2. So why is this super so strong? Well, a big part of it is it kind of has that V-trigger factor where you can cancel, you know, any attack into this move. So all of a sudden, any attack in your arsenal can essentially become plus on block. You know, just let it rip. and then just activate. And now they really have to be careful because they're going to have to deal with all these air ball mix-ups and stuff like that. All of a sudden, Blanka ball has the potential to be plus on block. He can do follow-up Blanka balls that you have to respect the plus frames on. So this is a really, really crazy move for a lot of reasons. Obviously, the combo possibilities off this move are really crazy as well, like we can see here, and giving him the Okizeme time to set up the Blanka-chan doll to get the follow-up combo to kill. So yeah, this level 2, I think we probably didn't recognize just how ridiculous that level 2 is when the game was brand new, but now we're starting to catch on that that is a ridiculously good super for a character to have. Here in game 2, we can see Nephew has switched to Chun-Li, and there we get the nice clutch anti-air on the Blanka ball, but there's another problem that we see right there a second ago, which is the air ball from Blanka. Air ball is an extremely strong move in this game for a few reasons. So one of them is EX air ball is plus. It's plus a lot. Like you can see if I hit low on the body here, +6? Are you kidding me? +5? Let's see if we can get even higher if we hit just perfectly on the toes there. Yeah, +8? +8? Are we serious? So yeah, the plus frames on EX Airball are really, really good, but there's also the factor that, you know, Airball gets you out of Okizeme situations. So, you know, if you're trying to go for throw loops or, you know, throw loop versus shimmy, that type of thing, there aren't that many options that beat this cleanly. Depending on the character and on the specific setup, oftentimes if you try to backdash a throw on wake up, you won't actually have time to get a punish after. Same thing if you try to jump out of the throw, they still have time to recover and anti-air you. You actually have very few options that punish this throw cleanly. It's basically like wake up invincible reversal, that's about it. And then of course, the opponent also has the option to shimmy, which will beat that wake up reversal. And shimmy is also an option to beat wake up throw tech as well. So if they're trying to guess throw tech on wake up, you can punish their throw. So shimmy versus throw is just a really powerful setup in this game. You get the knockdown and then they have to guess, am I gonna get thrown on wake up or am I gonna get shimmied? But it turns out that, you know, wake up airball is really good against both of these options. It is going to bait and punish the throw, or if they go for a shimmy, you know, obviously they'll usually just end up blocking the air ball and then you're plus on block. You know, theoretically you can anti-air him out of the air ball with a dragon punch, but it's really, really hard to do that. I mean, if you look at, you know, how quickly he can do this off the ground, like the reaction there is really, really hard. So really to beat this move, you kind of have to be like committing to a meaty attack. But even then, you know, if you slightly mistime it, you're still going to get hit by the air ball. So you have to be really, really on point with your setups to stop wake up, jump back, EX airball. It's a really hard tool to deal with that I think we're not ready for yet. Yes, it definitely has counters, but I just don't think most players are there yet, especially because Blanka is a less common character. A lot of people haven't labbed out these setups to the degree that they probably should have. So we saw the airball coming into play here against Nephew's Chun, and then here in round 2, we see once again the install super coming into play, but Nephew has a really good answer this time using drive reversal to get out of it. But he's still in the install, so he still gets to party quite a lot off of this level 2 super. So that combined with Nephew being really low on drive gauge now, gonna lose all the drive gauge because Blanka is plus on block after EX electricity as well. So Blanka has a lot of great options to remove your drive gauge and burn you out. And taking game 2, MenaRD looking ridiculous. So smartly, Nephew goes back to Jury. I think Jury was working out better than Chun. We can see once again, these Blanka balls, man, are really putting in work. EX Blanka ball, he even gets the combo off it. There's the wake up EX air ball. It looked like Nephew wanted to try to hit him out of it, but it's just too fast. It's ridiculous. And then here later on, you know, Nephew gets the DP to interrupt the Blanka ball. MenaRD just wakes up with non-EX airball here and manages to be safe on block because he hits low on the body. So again, it's kind of like the risk reward of Blanka ball here. Yeah, Jury gets a DP punish on Blanka ball. That should be huge, right? But because people are not that good at dealing with Blanka's wake up, in a mid-screen situation like this, you don't really get anything. You just get the damage of the DP, and then the knockdown, Nephew gets absolutely zero advantage off that knockdown because of the wake up airball. So definitely a tough situation. But you can see MenaRD really low on drive gauge here, trying to utilize the rainbow roll, but Nephew not biting just yet, throwing out the Blanka-chan. I don't want to sound like a broken record, guys, but check out what happens here. They trade on wake up, jump back EX airball. It's just so good. But Nephew's going to spend it all here, utilizing all of the drive gauge and a super meter to finally get around on the board here. Signs of life from Nephew. This is an interesting exchange right here at the start of the round. MenaRD goes for rainbow roll, gets jabbed out of it. I feel like if Nephew had labbed this setup out, you know, could have maybe got a juggle combo there off the counter hit jab, but we're seeing some good ideas. I feel like with more experience, people will be better at dealing with it. But of course, here's the level 2 install drive reversal again to get out of it. So that is a good option. But you can see Nephew has like no drive gauge here, landing 2 DPs, but you still have no drive gauge. How are you going to win with no drive gauge? 3 DPs and gets the wall splat, but drops the combo. And now Blanka once more still had a little bit of install left, able to keep partying. Goes for the wake up level 1 super, but actually gets beaten. Why did that happen? I have no clue, but Nephew's burnt out, running out of HP. It's looking tough. Plus frames on the EX electricity once again. The wake up ball, invincible reversal, and then why did that go backwards? Why did this go backwards? Jury? So I've tried to recreate this situation in trading mode, and it's really hard. Like usually the DP ends up going the right way and just whiffs, which is, you know, also not ideal. But yeah, I have no clue. I mean, like that time we got the crosscut going the right way and it hit. So I have no clue, guys, but that is a crazy situation to see happen in grand finals of a major. What the heck? So yeah, gets the punish on the DP going the wrong way. If that's an intentional setup from MenaRD, then shout outs, because that is crazy if you've actually labbed that out. But we're into, you know, what ends up being the final round here, if you can believe it. So we've seen Blanka balls coming into play. We're seeing Jury playing to her strengths here with the drive rush, but just looking unprepared and then getting hit by the cross-up rainbow roll is tough. And then, so this is another thing I want to point out about Blanka, is I feel like Blanka, if we actually like objectively look at his options as like a fundamentals based character, they're not that amazing, right? Like his walk speed is not very good. His normals are very, very slow, and his normals that aren't slow have pretty stubby range. So like for playing footsies, Blanka is not really like the best character in the game. And if we compare his drive rush to a character like Jury, it's just a lot slower, and he doesn't have the same options in terms of like crouching medium kick, drive rush. Like his crouching medium kick has, you know, so much worse range than hers that reaches like halfway across the screen. So yeah, in terms of fundamentals, Blanka is definitely not as good as Jury, but in terms of building up the opponent's mental stack, I think Blanka is one of the best characters in the game. So when we talk about the mental stack, we're talking about basically the list of things that you have to be looking for and paying attention to throughout the round. Blanka has an insane number of these, right? He's obviously got Blanka Ball. You have to be thinking about Blanka Ball pretty much constantly. That's just how the character works. You have to be ready for this move. He's also got Slide. We've seen Slide come up a few times in this set. This is like a half-screen normal that is punishable on block most of the time, but, you know, it's practically unreactable most of the time as well, so you kind of have to get like a lucky guess block when you're this far away. You're rarely blocking down back, so you have to pay attention to those. You obviously have to pay attention to like rainbow roll as well. That's something you have to think about in neutral. Blanka also has this command grab that, again, it's reactable. It is a reactable move that, you know, you can jump out and punish it on reaction. But when you're already thinking about Blanka Ball and Rainbow Roll, and then you see this startup and it doesn't look that different from Blanka Ball and Rainbow Roll, you just freeze up and you get grabbed. So he just has so many things that you have to pay attention to at any given time. So when you take that and you add in, you know, universal mechanics like jumping and like drive impact, everyone has access to these. Blanka can become really hard to defend against because your mental stack is just overwhelmed. You can't think about everything at the same time. So here in grand finals of a tournament, you know, Nephew has punished so many drive impacts in the tournament to get to this point. Drive impact, it is reactable, and Nephew has reacted really consistently throughout most of the matches today. But when you take that and, you know, you combine it with all these other things that Blanka has, it becomes really, really hard to react to. So we see getting wall splatted by the drive impact there. Does get a nice anti-air there on the not so safe jump into the combo. Gets the anti-air DP once again. I mean, Nephew putting in work here. And another DP closes it out. So Nephew gets one on the board. It's 2-1. But Nephew is in loser's bracket. So Nephew would have to win a lot more games to bring this back. So we're into the final game here, and I think we see a few key mistakes from Nephew here. Like we see the up ball going unpunished. Definitely could have done drive rush to punish that, but Nephew just not ready. Overwhelmed with the number of things that have to be paid attention to against Blanka. We can see MenaRD baiting EX DP there after the EX electricity just chilling. I also feel like Nephew probably could have gotten a punish on that Blanka ball. Usually when you jump back against Blanka ball from that far away, you can land with like a jumping medium kick and get the punish. Doesn't end up getting it, and then MenaRD again baits an EX DP and gets the punish. And guys, when I point out things that Nephew could have done differently, let me just be clear that I'm not saying that I would have played better. Obviously not. Nephew would destroy me 100-0, but I'm just saying for the future, you know, when we're paying attention to Blanka, there are certain things that it does seem that Nephew's a little bit unprepared for that MenaRD is getting away with. But this was actually really nice. Interrupts the EX air ball as like a miracle. And look at the whiff punish from MenaRD. That down fierce is pretty slow, but still gets it. And then here, I mean, you can see activates level 2, and then this whole time Nephew's been looking for drive reversal to get out of the level 2 block strings. So MenaRD just goes for the command throw, the reactable command throw. Gets away with it. Here's the bite in the corner and just meaty jab. Gets some huge swag combos here because of level 2. Sets up Blanka-chan. And there you can see the drive reversal gets out, but Blanka-chan is still there. MenaRD did burn out because of all those EX Blanka balls and is going to get dizzied against the wall. So this is a good opportunity for Nephew. Probably going to burn it all here. I'm not sure if this is a miscalculation of not knowing whether this is going to kill and going into burnout, or just thinking, you know, I'll spend it all and I'll get to like the 1 pixel situation, burnt out or not. That might have been the idea here. Goes for the overhead, but wake up jab into electricity. Look at MenaRD, you know, not respecting the overhead there, just pressing jab. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. Taking the whole set. I mean, utterly ridiculously good play by MenaRD. So if I were to recap everything that MenaRD did that I think really set Blanka apart and made him look ridiculous, I think one of the biggest factors is honestly the airball, because a huge part of this game right now, and probably for the rest of the game, a huge part is like the Okizeme, like knockdown type situation where you get a knockdown and then the opponent is going to have to guess, you know, am I going to try to frame trap them, pressure them with a plus normal? Am I going to go for throw? Am I going to go for shimmy? That is a huge part of offense in this game. And MenaRD basically said, no, I'm not going to be forced to play that game. I'm just going to jump back Blanka ball on like half my wake ups and get out of jail free. So yeah, definitely that is not always a get out of jail free card. I think if players really get used to this and lab against it, they'll do a much better job of punishing. But for CEO, it seemed like people were not ready. And then the other major factor, I think, just does come down to the mental stack. I mean, we saw Nephew not reacting to drive impact, which is rare for a player of his skill, not reacting to command throw, stuff like that. These are reactable moves. You can see 34 frame startup. That is reactable. Any good player can react to a 34 frame move, but can you react to that move when you're also trying to react to jump? You're also trying to react to Blanka ball. You're also trying to react to rainbow roll and drive impact and drive rush and everything and slide. Can you react to all these things at the same time? Probably not. No player of any skill level can think about 15 different things and react to them all perfectly. It's just not humanly possible. That's why we see top players missing anti-airs, top players getting jumped in on and stuff. You just can't keep everything straight like that. The mental stack is too real. And I think MenaRD did a great job of providing all these threats and saying, here, you're going to have to deal with all this stuff. And it just really shows why MenaRD is such a good player. So played Blanka to all his strengths, I think, for sure, and utilize some of the things that Blanka has that are really powerful, like the install as well. We saw some great use out of that, and, you know, Blanka-chan was out there doing his thing, so, yeah, really amazing play by MenaRD. Do I think Blanka's top tier? I guess some of you might be watching the video and asking this question. I'm curious about your thoughts. I'm not ready to say he's top tier yet. You know, I think probably if we look at what Luke and Jury and DJ and Ken, what those characters have, they just seem more solid, right? They seem more solid. Their drive rushes are so much better. Their normals are so much better. They just seem better to me. I like to think that maybe once we get used to Blanka's shenanigans, we'll be better at dealing with them. This was maybe inexperience coming into play a little bit, but I definitely think he's good, right? He definitely seems good. He definitely seems like he could be up there with characters like Manon and like, I don't know, Kimberly and other characters, maybe Marisa, the JP, these characters that are like obviously really good, but just don't seem like they have the juice to be true top tier right now. That's kind of how I'm feeling about Blanka, but I don't know. I think he's becoming better by the day. Even though we're getting better at dealing with him, people are getting better at his setups and stuff like that. So the character definitely has a lot of room to grow still. I don't know. I'm excited to see. I want to hear what you guys have to say. How you feeling about Blanka? Do you think it was just a skill diff because MenaRD is the best? Or do you think that the character had a lot to do with it as well? Because MenaRD was also playing Luke in this tournament, but switched to Blanka for pretty much all of top 8. So, yeah, anyway, I'll stop rambling. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I really had fun watching Blanka do his thing, and I hope you did too. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everybody.